now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome parents, and I hope we have some students on here too. You're welcome to be on here, parents and students of Rising ninth graders. And so we're glad to have you here tonight. I'm Betsy Bachman, principal at Grady High School. And on our call tonight, on our meeting tonight, we have a lot of teachers who are going to do a fantastic job presenting a little bit of what they do every day, either virtually or in person, face to face, and they do a fantastic job. We have a jam-packed program for you tonight. It's going to be about an hour and a half. And so what we're asking is, please don't start typing, or the chat. We're not going to answer questions as we go. We're going to do the whole presentation, and then if there are questions that pertain to the general body, then we will be happy to answer them. Also, our teachers' information will be available for you to contact them directly. So we just want to make sure that we get through our presentation, because it really does have a lot of great information. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Palekia, who is our 9th grade counselor, who's going to introduce the evening and then also talk about our great website that where you can find a lot of information as well. So welcome again, and Ms. Palekia, take it away.
Okay. All right, Ms. Hollis, you ready for the next slide? Okay, so some of the people that we do have in attendance today, obviously Dr. Botman, the principal, Mr. Willie Vincent, assistant principal and 9th grade liaison, Ms. Takesha Hollis, assistant principal, myself, Ms. Patricia Maxwell, student support 504 coordinator, Ms. Jessica Chittister, special education lead teacher, and representatives for all core and pathway classes. Next slide. Ms. Hollis, next slide.
It is on the next slide.
Thank you. Atlanta Public School graduation requirements. You have to satisfy attendance requirements, successfully complete required high school courses, take the end of course EOC milestones assessment for EOC subjects, and complete 75 hours of community service. Atlanta Public Schools required coursework, English language arts, 1 unit of 9th grade lit, math, 1 unit of algebra 1 or another math, science, 1 unit of biology, and social studies, a half a unit, a quarter of American government civics. Oh, did we miss one, Ms. Hollis? Atlanta Public Schools required coursework continued. Foreign language, 1 unit of foreign language, French, Spanish, or Latin, and an additional this year, which we have really gotten great feedback, is our sign language. Then health and physical education, a half a unit, a quarter of health, a half a unit, a quarter of physical education, and then personal fitness. So pathway and electives, all 9th graders may not opt to take foreign language, health and physical education. Those who opt out must satisfy these requirements prior to graduation. Electives and pathways. Electives are all other classes that students take in their schedules, such as art, music, business, journalism.
Miss Fleckia, are you there?
Mr. Vincent, can you kind of take over? Ms. Palickia's computer is really cutting in and out.
I can do it if you.
Mr. Vincent, are you available?
Yes,
Can you take over?
I
Ms.
am.
Palickia's computer or internet connection is really in and out. We've missed a lot of what she said. Could you take over, please?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, she's talking about electives and pathway courses. Anything beyond what you take in language arts, math, science, social studies, and world languages are considered electives. Again, art, music, theater, PE. They become pathways when you decide that you're going to focus your energy. If most of you can think back to your college years, you had a college major. So art would become a pathway when you decide I'm going to take 3 or more courses in that particular area. So theater becomes a pathway with 3 courses, arts, journalism. If you just choose one of those courses and say, well, I want to explore it and just leave it at that, then it's an elective. So all of that will be made a little clearer as we go through the evening. Okay, next slide. Here's a listing of all the pathways. Again, I won't read them aloud. You're going to hear clear descriptions from the people who teach these courses this evening. And again, once we talk about the Rising Ninth Grade website, you'll find more detailed information about pathways. Again, pathways are focused areas of interest. They are not required, but again, colleges do like to see that students have started something and seen it through. So pathways are ideal for the college-bound and career-oriented students. So again, we'll talk more about those in detail later. Next slide. Pathway and elective selection. This should be the screen where I think we're talking about the process. You're going to submit the applications online. The dates are given to you. I think we give you 2 weeks to submit those. Part of that pathway selection process will also be an opportunity for you to explore clubs and organizations at Grady. It will also be a chance for you to talk about your interest in sports. Everything that you'll need will be listed in that pathway form. Again, it's on that Rising Ninth Grade website. There's even a part for parents to volunteer. So think about how you're going to contribute as adults to your child's education here at Grady. It's all done electronically. You'll get an electronic notification that Grady has received it. The site will even tell you what to do if you don't get that electronic notification. All right, continue. Students with IEPs. Ms. Chittister is on the line tonight. So if you have any specific questions about that transition from middle school, special education to high school, Ms. Chittister will be available to answer any questions that you have. And again, this screen basically just explains the process that they will have the same IEP until it's reviewed in high school. They will have case managers assigned to work with you and your child on implementing the accommodations and setting the goals, all the things that you've been familiar with from your time in middle school. And notice her email address. 504 SST. If you know what that is, Ms. Maxwell again is on the line. Her email address is at the bottom of the screen. So be sure to contact her if you know that your child has received 504 services or is in the SST process. If you think that your child may need such, be sure to contact Ms. Maxwell. If you don't know what in the world I'm talking about, just send us an email and we'll sort of give you the background on what SST and 504 are in high school.
And just be assured that Ms. Chittister and Ms. Maxwell work closely with the middle school beforehand. So They're already reaching out to the middle school CELT and 504 coordinator.
Absolutely. Additional student support. We have an awesome college career center. So again, we focus our kids' energies early on those things that they aspire to do in school and beyond their high school time. College advisors who work directly with them to help them with all of the pieces related to the financial aspects, along with school counselors in their transition to college and dual enrollment programs. An awesome a writing center to help students with those requisite skills for their writing classes, for their social studies class, whatever it is they need help with in regards to writing, even college essays. We have those resources on site. The Grady Math Center for any students who struggle in any area of math or who need some help beyond that which a teacher can give, that's available. We offer our after-school tutorials. Chris 180, students who need some emotional support of any kind. That is available at Grady High School. We can give you more details about what that looks like. And the Student Support Center, all those things related to needs, social worker, any kind of, any need the students would have, we try to meet those needs somehow at Grady High School. Next slide. The school profile, Ms. Palekia has given you the link to that. Some students and parents were asking about the school's profile, which has been sort of challenging to find on the website, but it is on the counselors tab. But Ms. Palekia did add that link for you so you can see all of the stats, all the data associated with Grady, graduation rate, what kids do beyond high school, all those kinds of things that we found in the school's profile. Co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Oh my goodness, every day at Grady, we're adding something new. And the great thing about Grady High School is if you don't see something that you're interested in, it may be a time for you to propose something. We've had several students lately to actually do that. And there is a way in the pathway selection form to say, I don't see anything I'm interested in. Have you ever thought about this? But we have publications, the newspaper, the Creative Writing Magazine, yearbook. We have so many clubs like FBLA, the robotics team. Move On When Ready, again, is what we used to call the dual enrollment program. Students who want to engage in college classes on the actual college campus during their time in high school. HOSA, the health organization, the theater program, visual arts, orchestra, all these things. We have so many things. And on the Rising Ninth Grade website, there'll be a description of them. And the teachers are also working with their students to prepare you some kind of video promo. And we're adding those to the website as fast as teachers give them to me. So we want you involved. All right, now we're ready for Miss Mary Villapando, who's going to talk about the ninth grade language arts experience at Grady High School. You on, Miss Villapando?
Yep, I'm here. Is there any way I can share my screen, or I have like a Google slide thing going on? Can I get permission to?
You have permission now.
Let me see here. Yep, it's letting me know. Okay, cool. All right, so hi everyone, I'm Ms. Villapando. I'm the ninth grade literature and composition teacher. I'm also the LA department co-chair, and I also sponsor Grady's The Unmasking, which is our literary magazine. So a few things about ninth grade lit, some goals here. Students are gonna learn to interpret, analyze, evaluate, and critique literature. The overall goal of this course is really to expose students to informational text, short stories, novels, and of course some dramatic literature. We do read Romeo and Juliet. Students will examine literature from ancient world epics such as the Odyssey to modern novels, emphasizing various genres, authors, cultures, and of course the context and the history surrounding each piece of literature. So what do the readings look like for ninth grade? Well, we have the Joy Luck Club, we have Lord of the Flies, we have March, we have Romeo and Juliet. These are all novels that we read this year. And of course, these are all paired with short stories or excerpts from other pieces of writing as well. So what does the writing look like for ninth grade? There are 3 essays that we focus on. We have narrative essays, argumentative and persuasive, and of course, expository and informational essays. So real quick, I did want to give you a glimpse at our ELA department website. And if you scan this QR code right here, it will actually take you right to our website. So I'm going to leave that there in case you want to scan that. But I'm also going to show you what our website looks like in case you want further information. So once you're here, you can go ahead and go to courses. And what this does is going to give you a description of each of our courses that are offered here in regards to the English department. We also have our ESOL courses listed here, and of course our English electives, which include Writer's Workshop, Advanced Composition, Journalism 1, Literary Magazine Yearbook, Reading Enrichment, and so forth. So I'll go ahead and put the QR code there for you, and that's about it.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Okay, now we have 2 math teachers, Ms. Rowe and Ms. Hunter, who will talk about ninth grade mathematics.
Hey, I'm Ms. Rowe. I can just go first. I'm just going to give you kind of some things that we've been doing virtually and how the classes are run. I teach algebra. So I get most of the ninth graders, and there's 2 algebra teachers, well, 3 actually. So a typical day that we would go through is the students would come in, they do a warm up on Kahoot. I teach some sort of lesson and have some conversations with, interactive conversations with them, kind of built in some practice with them as I'm teaching it. And then they get some sort of practice assignment and an exit ticket. Some of the things that we use when, some of the, I don't know what you call them, platforms that we use Kami a lot. Kami is just something that allows them to write on documents so that they can submit them in Google Classroom. USA Test Prep, we use Edpuzzle, which is where they watch videos, and as they watch the video, it asks them questions, so it kind of explains it, but then it checks for understanding as they go along. We use quizzes, we use Desmos, Nearpod, so everything's virtual. We cover 3 units we cover 4 units. Mainly we cover linear equations, exponential equations, and quadratic equations. And we really focus on those 3 and then comparing all the characteristics of those 3. And then we do a data unit on statistics. And then for each unit, we typically have a quiz, a task, which is more of an open-ended activity that they have to do, and then a test, which is multiple choice and construct response. I always post Zoom recordings if anyone is ever absent. The Zoom recordings will always be posted on my Google Classroom. And for parents, I'm really big into communication, especially with ninth graders. So I will probably talk to you if I have your child. But it's really important to stay communicated with all your teachers, but communication is like huge. So feel free to reach out to me, or there's my email, and I look forward to meeting everybody. Ms. Hunter?
Yes. Thank you. I'm Ms. Hunter. I teach geometry. The foundation really for geometry starts in elementary and middle school, where students begin learning how to identify angles, then later measure. And in geometry, we use theorems to solve specific problems. So the topics covered in geometry uses multiple properties layered upon one another to find missing measures or prove various properties or theorems students are introduced to. Throughout the virtual environment and face-to-face, we've incorporated different learning experience for students to engage in, which include Desmos, Gizmos, GeoGebras, and various self-discovery tasks. Throughout the course, we employ the Georgia State standards for mathematical practices to ensure rigor in facilitating students' understanding of the standards. The units we cover include transformations in the coordinate plane, proving geometric theorems, similarity, trigonometry, geometric solids, algebraic, and geometric connections, circles, and applications of probability. If you have any questions regarding the course, please feel free to contact me at my email address below.
And I'm so overjoyed that Ms. Palekia is back. And I can now drive my car safely and stop trying to look at the cell phone. Okay, I'm confessing. Thanks for being back, Ms. Palekia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And up next, we have Miss Christy Lowell to talk about ninth grade science.
Hi guys, I'm Miss Lowell, and I used to be at Inman just a couple of years ago, so you may remember me from there. But I'm teaching ninth grade biology this year. I also teach 11th grade physics. So I'm going to speak to what we cover in biology, and then also a little bit about the other science courses at Grady and sort of the pathway for that. So when your students get into ninth grade, they'll either be taking biology on level or honors biology. We have both. The curriculum is the same, but the level of depth and detail is different. They will all take the same EOCT at the end of the year though. So within that course, we have 5 big units. So we start off the year with characteristics of life, organization of life, sort of what life is. And we talk about viruses in there, which is quite important this year. And then we move on to molecules and organisms. So that's where we get into organelles, which should be a little bit of a review from middle school, biomolecules, and some of those processes in there. From there, we move on to unit 3 is genetics and heredity, which is one of my favorites. That one, we talk about the molecular aspects of it. We talk about mitosis, meiosis, and then get into Mendelian genetics and Punnett squares. Next will come evolution. So that's where we get into Charles Darwin, natural selection, genetic drift, all of that. And then the final unit is ecology. So that's the interaction of life kind of on a macro scale with the environment. So those are kind of our 5 big units in ninth grade. And depending on which course your child is taking, the amount of sort of depth and detail will vary a little bit. In terms of where they go from there, so your child will take biology for sure in ninth grade. And then in 10th grade, there are 2 options. So your child will either take chemistry or environmental science in 10th grade. And I believe that if your child is in on level versus honors, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's not that all honors students go into chemistry and all on level go into environmental science. That's not how it is. Depends quite a bit on how you do in ninth grade. Then in 11th grade, everyone takes physics typically, and there's on-level physics, and then there's also an AP version of physics, so students will take either one of those options. And then in 12th grade, there's kind of a variety of courses that can be taken. There's some really fun ones that are kind of different. So we have your regular AP Bio and AP Environmental Science. Then we have some kind of unique ones like astronomy, anatomy, scientific research are some of the choices that they'll have as they progress through Grady Science. I also want to take just a second here to talk about a couple other things. So I'm also one of the cross-country coaches at the school. So if your child is interested in running cross-country, we're kind of going to get that info out here pretty soon, and hopefully your kid will express interest around the spring, and that's when we'll be sending out, Coach Kramer and I will be sending out a spreadsheet so that they can record their running and kind of get started on that before they even get into high school. Practices tend to start over the summer, and we did have a season this year, which was great, and the season ends about early November is state. And then last thing, this is not specifically related to Grady, but it's a really cool opportunity for Grady students. We are I am leading a trip to the Galapagos Islands to study evolution, and that's going to be, let's see, June 2022. So there's still so much time to sign up for that. And I have actually led this trip before while I was working at Inman, and we had about 25 kids come on this trip. So it's a really cool opportunity. I won't give you a whole bunch of details here, but it's a 9-day trip of Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands, super educational and very much related to 9th grade science. So if you're interested, my email's up there. Just send me an email. I'll get you some info about that. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks so much, Ms. Lowell. Next up is Mr. Christopher Rodenbaugh, who teaches civics for us.
Hi, everyone. I'm speaking for social studies, and I think Mr. Wharton is here as well, who's going to talk about AP Human Geography. But most 9th graders will find their way into our civics course here at Grady, and it's certainly an interesting time to be teaching civics in the state of Georgia. And I think that I speak for Ms. Salveson as well, who also teaches civics courses, that we are fully embracing all of the attention and excitement around the elections and a lot of the questions that students have about where we are in our democracy, that we're embracing that in our classrooms and using it to inspire, hopefully, students who will be active citizens throughout their lives. The course, the civics course, starts actually with local issues here in Atlanta. And I think it's really important that students understand that a lot of American government happens at the local and state level, not just at the national level. And so this year, we focused on 3 issues in our opening unit: the coronavirus response, and we use that as a way to understand federalism and the relationship between the national and state governments. We discussed police brutality and reform and some of the protests over the summer, and as well as affordable housing. And so each year, it's really important that we kick off the course with topics that students are naturally interested in, to try and be kind of an on-ramp into caring about civics in general and in American history. And so after an introduction in current events and applying some of the concepts of government, we go into the context of the founding of the US government, and specifically the founding documents. I always have my pocket constitution on the desk, and I have a class set in my actual classroom. And I try to demystify those documents and make kids understand that they're designed to be accessible for everyone. And so students are frequently referencing those texts in my class. And once you go through historical context, then the course goes through each of the branches of government, so the legislative, executive, and judicial, and gives students a better sense of how they operate. And something else that's really important to me is that students don't just learn the content, but they apply it. Our first unit ends with a letter to an elected official, and they get to choose the topic and choose whether they write to a city council member, a member of the Georgia General Assembly, or to a member of US Congress that represents them. Students look up their members of Congress, they know who the representatives are. I think that's one of the really most important things coming out of this course. We'll also, in our judicial branch unit, we have a couple of seminars on Supreme Court cases. And I like to work with students on discourse and having conversations about topics in civics. And then throughout the course, there are a few quizzes and tests as well. For every assessment, students will have a flashcard set through Quizlet. So if you haven't heard of that yet, Quizlet is a fantastic resource. I know other teachers are great to use it as well. I'm trying to build steady habits of not just studying the night before. So we'll often take 5 or 10 minutes of class to just warm up using a set on Quizlet to start getting more familiar with the vocabulary. And then lastly, I'm a participant in a program called the Harvard Case Method Project. And the program is designed to take case studies, which is how they teach at Harvard Law School, Business School, and Medical School, and try to translate that to American high school social studies. And with the idea being that if students are actually studying real situations and debating decisions that real people made, that they're more likely to get engaged in politics and see themselves as active participants in our society. So I'd love to talk to anyone who has any questions. My email is there. I sponsor a few clubs as well that focus on issues of activism in different ways. We have a March for Our Lives club at Grady, and a club called ASAP, which is Atlanta Students Advocating for Pedestrians. And that is a club that it has done quite a bit of work on a local level to promote pedestrian safety and has given a lot of students real life experience with pressuring their local officials. And so if you have a student that might be interested in joining one of those clubs or working on voter registration, that's something that I've spent a lot of time working on. I would love to hear from you and get to know your student. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Rodenbaugh. Next up is Mr. Wharton, who will talk about AP Human Geography.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Wharton. I teach AP Human Geography. This is my 5th year teaching it here at Grady, my 18th year with APS. So a little bit, if you're not familiar with AP, it's the Advanced Placement Program. Courses designed by the College Board. So AP Human Geography is a college level course. It's meant to cover what would be expected in an introductory level college course. And it's the only one offered to 9th graders. So I kind of think of the course as like AP boot camp for Grady, because we have so many, Grady offers so many AP classes, or so much, especially in social studies, I have to say. I'm going to brag a little bit about social studies. So what that means is when you take the course, I'll be teaching a college level course, and then at the end of the course, they have the option of taking the AP exam, and most of our students do take it. Last year, almost all of my students took it. This year, as of right now, they're all taking it, at least the ones I'm taking this semester. And based on their performance on that exam, they can potentially earn college credit. That all depends on the college they end up going to and what they accept and what they're looking for. AP exams are scored between a 1 and a 5. Most colleges require that you have to score at least a 3, so that they're convinced that they have the level of knowledge and understanding that would allow them to pass a college level course. And Grady students generally do really well. Generally, our students, they're usually in the 70s to 80% that get a 3 or higher, which is really high. The national average is about 50% get a 3 or higher. So our students do really well. So a little bit, let's see here. I'm trying not to forget anything. A little bit about some of the things we study. It's called Human Geography because it's all about how humans use space on Earth. The course assumes the students have a basic idea of where things are. So I encourage students who are wanting to take the course to be looking at maps, get familiar with locations of like countries, major bodies of water, things like that. Because we'll be talking about how humans use the space, and not really going over like the basics of here's the Andes Mountains, there's Peru. That's not, it kind of assumes the students have a grasp on that. They don't have to be perfect, but they just have an idea. Some of the things we will study during the year, we study population demographics and patterns of around the world. Migration, we look at voluntary migration, forced migration, refugees, different refugee crises around the world, border policies. One thing I love about this course is I could take pretty much any headline from the news on any day and work it into what we're studying, because it's very current, it's very relevant to the world we live in. So I also encourage my students to watch the news, or at least keep up with what's happening. And I know a lot of kids don't like to do that, but I try to encourage them. We study the geography of culture. We look at language, religion, political geography. I mentioned before, we look at things like border policy and why did Britain leave the European Union, things like that. We do agricultural geography, basically the geography of food and how that affects the planet. Right now we're in urban geography, hence the urban landscape behind my head that you see. And then we wrap up with economic geography at the end, or economic development, that kind of thing. It's a great course. It's my favorite thing I've ever taught, and I'm hoping that I get to teach it until I retire many, many years from now. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email and I'll help you out. And I hope to see a lot of you in class next year.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wharton. Okay, next up to talk about our world languages is Miss Leonard.
I knew that was going to happen. Hello, my name is Amy Leonard. I have the pleasure of speaking on behalf of a wonderful world language department of 8 different teachers. We offer 4 languages at Grady: French, Spanish, Latin, and American Sign Language this fall of 2020. Very exciting. Students, as you heard before, are, well, maybe not, will graduate from Grady High School with a minimum of 2 years of the same language. So 2 consecutive years of French, Spanish, Latin, or now American Sign Language. Most colleges are looking 3 years as on looking at sort of a favorable application. So our counselors are really wonderful about recommending students take that 3rd year as well. We do offer up to levels 4 and advanced placement in French, Spanish, and Latin. In the modern language classroom, that is French and Spanish, our modern language teachers use something called comprehensible input. Their classrooms might look a little different from the regular kind of core language classrooms. Sometimes the rooms don't have desks. The students will be sitting in chairs, don't necessarily have writing materials in front of them because it's supposed to be very oral and aural, using something called comprehensible input. The courses are highly interactive, attempting at language immersion, of course. Our French teacher works with the Alliance Française to do outreach with her students. We have a Spanish immersion camp that takes place through our Spanish teachers as well. Stepping into the Latin classroom, you'll see something that looks a little more traditional, a reading-based approach where our students are doing lots of reading and grammatical study of Latin, but our students are also having the opportunity to attend 2 different Latin conventions during the year, as well as compete in the National Latin Exam. I can't say a whole lot about American Sign Language. This is the 1st year that it's been taught at Grady, and I was really glad to hear Ms. Palekia say that it's getting really positive reviews. So look forward to keeping that around and building our arsenal of languages. We also have clubs for our various languages. There is a Latin club, a French club, and I know that Ms. Miley has begun an American Sign Language club. So Mr. Vincent was right. We have a club or an activity for just about everything. As far as things that students do with their language study that distinguishes them upon graduation, we have 2 programs that we promote. One of them is called the Seal of Biliteracy, which is quite literally a seal that goes on their diploma, and it can be achieved in 2 ways. One of them is by achieving a 4 or higher on the AP exam of that area, so that is French, Spanish, Latin. The other is if a student comes already speaking another language, perhaps they speak Turkish or German at home, they can take a test that just verifies their literacy in that language, and they can also achieve the seal of biliteracy in that language. So even if it's not a language that we offer at the school. The other graduation distinction we make available is the International Skills Diploma Seal, which is not necessarily a language proficiency seal, but a cultural literacy distinction that shows that students have done outreach, community service, perhaps mission trips associated with a particular culture. So that is everything I have to say about the World Language Department. Please feel free to contact me if you have any other questions.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Miss Tracy Schweitzer, who is, we have Coach Johnson, who is going to speak, who is our athletic director and is a coach, and he is going to speak to us about Grady Athletics.
I'm in my 2nd year as athletic director at Grady. I'm also a Grady grad, class of 2001. So really excited about what we have going on.
Coach Johnson, we can't hardly hear you.
Nope.
Want to give it another try?
How about now?
Excellent.
Better? Okay, it was the headphones, sorry. So yeah, my name is Patrick Johnson. I'm in my second year as athletic director at Grady. I'm also a Grady grad, class of 2001. So really excited about what we have going on in the athletic department. Want to go through real quick some of the things we have to offer, and then also some advice for any families out there who have rising ninth graders who are interested in athletics. We have more than 20 total sports, almost 30 teams when you take into account the different genders and JV level and everything else. We have varsity sports, all the traditional sports, football, basketball, track, volleyball. We have new varsity sports like esports, which is competitive video gaming. And then we also have club sports that are very popular, like ultimate frisbee and water polo. So in true Grady fashion, there's definitely something there for everybody. Really excited about the coaching staff we have, and a lot of great people to work with your students. If you're interested, or I would encourage you to get involved now. There are a couple different things. If you know that there's a sport that you're interested in exploring, a lot of sports start in the summer. So sometimes in the spring. So some of our fall sports for 2021 will start holding tryouts in the spring. Some of our winter sports and our spring sports will have workouts during the summer. So now is definitely the time, if you have a sport that you're interested in pursuing, to start learning about the sport and getting in contact with the coaching staff. So that's the first step, is to contact the head coach. You can find all that information on our Grady Athletics website, which is www.gradyknightsathletics.com. All athletic staff members are listed on there, and you can always obviously email me, and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction as well. So getting in contact with the head coach as soon as possible is your best bet first. They'll have all the details about tryouts, workouts, practice times, practice dates, everything else. And then the second big thing to make sure you're taking care of is pre-athletic participation paperwork. So the most important one of those is your physical. All students must have an updated physical completed within the last 12 months to participate in any workout, tryout, practice, or competition. So especially given everything else that's going on right now, making sure you are on top of that early, so that when that first day of practice or competition or tryouts does come, that paperwork is all ready to go. We are participating in all our athletic seasons right now. It has been a new experience for sure, but we've been doing our best to make it as safe as possible. We've completed our full fall seasons. We're in the middle of all our winter sports right now, and we are planning to begin spring sports in January. So everything has been going well, all things considered. We are not currently, or APS is not currently allowing spectators at any of our sporting events. If that does change, I would definitely encourage you to try and get out and see a game or attend a game, so that you can get a better idea of what the sport looks like. So if you do have any questions about a particular sport or just the athletic department in general, my email is right there on the slide. You can feel free to reach out to me, and I will answer it as best I can or point you in the right direction. So thank you all for being here this evening, and look forward to seeing your sons and daughters on our fields and courts next year. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And next up is Miss Tracy Schweitzer, who is in charge of our healthcare pathway.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Oh, good, you have my slide. Yes, I'm a new teacher to Grady High School, but I am also a proud Grady parent. I have been in your position 3 times. I have 2 Grady grads and 1 Grady student, so welcome. The healthcare science pathway is a 3-year pathway. It is part of the CTAE program, which is the Career Technical and Agricultural Education program in APS. This pathway has 3 years, and I'll just say, what a year in COVID-19 to be teaching healthcare science. There has not been a day or a week that's gone by that we haven't had some really great discussions about what's happening in our community and in our world. So I really am happy to be here and bring current industry to our students. I have been a registered nurse and a nurse practitioner. So again, bringing healthcare industry into the classroom. The pathway is really for anyone interested in medicine, science, biology, healthcare, behavioral health, mental health, helping others, a curiosity about the human body. This would be a great pathway for anyone interested in those things. The first year intro, we cover a lot of careers and professions, wellness, preventive care, digging into the legal and ethical responsibilities of healthcare providers, also ethics, infection control is really covered all 3 years. Some hands-on skills like first aid and CPR. We also do some medical math, and also covering the healthcare disparities that exist in our community and in the United States. And then the second year is really, we cover anatomy and physiology with a medical side of that, the pathophysiology of disease processes, and we cover all the body systems. And then the third year, Grady's pathway is patient care fundamentals. So it is entry-level skills needed. And we cover elderly care, health and preventive care, mental health, hands-on learning how to do vital signs, and all the things that entry-level, like nursing assistant or patient care provider would need in their skill set. This course is co-curricular with HOSA, which is the Future Healthcare Professionals, and there's a very strong group of students at Grady that run this organization, and it provides leadership and professionalism and an opportunity to explore and enhance delivery of healthcare for everyone. So basically, like my slide says, from Florence Nightingale to Anthony Fauci, we cover it. So thank you so much for your time, and welcome to Grady.
Thank you so much. And next up is Miss Melissa Nunnick, who will talk to you about drafting and design.
Thank you so much, Ms. Valekia. I'm really excited. This is my second year at Grady, and I'm well into my second decade at APS, and I'm an engineering and drafting and design teacher. I know that that's as surprising to you as it was probably to me, if you had me in 6th grade or if your student had me in 6th grade. But I am delighted to bring my talent in the classroom to a really exciting area that I am engaged and learning so very much in while I teach. So engineering, drafting, and design is basically, it's hands-on projects and other curriculum that prepares students for post-secondary drafting programs. But I found out today when I pulled my kids through Flipgrid that in fact, many of them are doing this because they just want hobbies as adults, and they think that this is much more interesting than some of the options, which is great. I've started with spatial visualization. We've made our way through hand lettering. We've also hit some serious sketching and hand drafting of parts, as well as we are just moving into the CAD programs that they will eventually be using in their second and third year in drafting and design. They're encouraged because a lot of the information that they're going to have to deal with is steeped in math and science to take things like advanced algebra, chemistry, calculus, geometry, trig, physics, as well as the 2D and 3D art. I've hit everyone except language arts and my people, my loved ones in social studies. I'll get to you. So if you've got a kid that wants to be challenged by this, they do not need art skills at all. You do not need to know how to draw. A lot of my students currently have been relieved to find that they don't have to have any intrinsic or established talent in representing things artistically, that I will bring them up to speed, just like I did myself last year. And there's there's all kinds of potential for this particular pathway. You could consider architecture, any area of engineering, but specifically mechanical, landscape design, fashion and decor requires sketching, as well as spatial visualization, advertising, building construction. You could go in so many different directions with the skills that they acquire and this pathway. This pathway is co-curricular with the TSA, the Technology Students Association. I am privileged to co-sponsor that with my colleague, Ms. Schofield, who you will hear from soon. She is running the engineering pathway, and she's helped me tremendously to get the ropes here at Grady. That's about it. I think the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that as students graduate from Grady High with a pathway completion in drafting and design, they will be potentially already certified as users, but conceptually they could be professionals in the 3 AutoCAD programs that we actively have and can use: Revit, Fusion 360, and Autodesk's Inventor. We're also using Onshape, which is a web-based for right now, because we are distance learning and we can't pass out the, unfortunately, machines with all of that great software loaded on them. I am also a proud sponsor of the Ultimate program. Thanks, props to PE. Thank you, Coach Johnson, for the for the mention. And I am just so excited about seeing your kids in class next year. Thank you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to write an email. And if you can name this object, there's an extra present involved. And yeah, so that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Knight.
Absolutely.
Next up is Mr. John Brainhorst, who is over the Tech Theater. Mr. Brainhorst.
And learning how to use a microphone is a big part of Tech Theater. I do teach Tech Theater at Grady. Tech Theater 2 and 3, along with my wonderful colleague, Mr. Jake Dreiling, who will talk to you in just a couple of minutes. I'm also the department chair for the Fine and Visual Arts, and I'm very honored to be a part of a very passionate and notoriously excellent faculty and set of programs. So I teach visual art, drawing, painting, art history, AP, studio art, and then, like they said, Tech Theater. Students coming into the program are going to be steeped in a wide variety of technical, art historical, and visual culture exercises to allow them to participate, to become visually literate. We're happy if people become also marvelous technical artists to go on to get bachelors of fine arts, but I think I personally am more interested in students who are able to be skeptical and fluent in the visual language that invades our lives on an ever increasing basis. So students will come in and take Visual Art 1 Comp, which involves a wide variety of exercises that deal with different art movements, a wide variety of techniques and approaches to image making. And from there, they have a number of choices to either stay with me and go on to do Drawing and Painting 1, Drawing and Painting 2, and AP Art, along with art history as an adjunct to those classes, or to switch and to get into our photography department, which is taught by Ms. Wadsworth, who will introduce that in just a moment, and also our fashion program, which is taught by Ms. Williams, and she will talk about the details of that notoriously wonderful singular program, which there is no other like it in any high school in the country, just say. So for all of the students in the visual and performing arts, in the past couple of years, we've been able to allow what is a fine arts honor seal on a diploma, like some of the other programs. So students who are able to take part for 3 years and participate in a capstone project, which is some kind of large performance or exhibition or show of their culminating activities. They will then receive this gold seal on the diplomas, which is a great honor and a great validation of the creative arts in what is a comprehensive education. So please contact me with any questions. I'm happy to go at length about the wonderful things that we do. And I give it over to my next colleague. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And next up is Mr. Dreiling, who's going to talk about theater arts, acting, and directing.
Hi, I'm Mr. Dreiling. I've been here at Grady for 14 years. Been teaching for 22. I teach a wide range of theater courses along with my colleague, Mr. Brandhorst, and actually 4 other staff members who each teach a drama class. We have a large program here. We actually have several different pathways. One is tech theater. The other one's acting, directing. And do you want me to do my other one now or later, Ms. Fleck? Yeah.
I think you can do it all now.
Okay, great. So we also offer a musical theater pathway as well. And I am also going to share screen because that's a lot of stuff. Maybe I'm going to share screen, maybe not. Oh, someone else is sharing. Okay, got it. See how that works. Here we go. So here's our little theater arts pathway. So in 9th grade, you're going to take one of 2 classes, either the fundamentals of drama or theater arts fundamentals, or you could take musical theater, or you can take both. From there, we have the 3 different pathways, and this is kind of how the rest of your high school will go if you decide to do any one of these 3 pathways. They're all interchangeable, and you can actually take some from one and the other. But as far as each of the pathways are concerned, this is sort of the recommended path. Acting and directing is a lot of, as it sounds, it's all about performing. It does have a film element as well. So we're talking about acting on stage and as well as in front of the camera. You can move on to directing your own show, or you can be making your own short films in that pathway. As Mr. Brandhorst said, technical theater, there's a lot of different aspects. We're very excited to be offering a costume tech class as well as our regular tech theater class to specialize in that, which is amazing, taught by Miss Williams. And then we also have musical theater, which is also taught by Mr. Pope and Mr. Hill, who will be speaking a little bit later on. And that pathway has a whole bunch of options, including producing a full-length show in the class as part of your culminating project. So we also have a lot of stuff after school that is, a lot. When I say a lot, we do produce somewhere around 6 to 12 shows a year. So each of those are separate from the classes. And to be truthful, you can do those, or you can just do the classes. It's kind of like you can do anything you want. Go ahead and visit our website, gradydrama.com. It's got a wealth of information. Check out and see the kind of stuff that we have to offer in the theater arts pathways. And I look forward to seeing all of you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dreiling. Next up is Mr. Stanton for band.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mr. Artis Staten. I'm the director of bands here at Grady High School. Very excited to speak to you all. First and foremost, been really a nice pleasure getting to know your students over the course of the semester, band parents specifically, rising 9th graders. So I popped into a couple of classes and have been, hanging out with them a little bit and giving them some information about what's coming up. So to tell you a little bit about the band program, we have a pretty comprehensive program here at Grady. We offer 3 concert band classes. That's going to be beginning band. That's going to be for strictly beginners, people who have never played before. So if your student is currently enrolled in a band class at Howard Centennial, then of course they would go into one of the other classes. This is for people who kind of missed that opportunity in middle school and said, you know what, I think I want to play an instrument, and I want to play a band instrument. So one thing that we have to keep in mind with band instruments, and we kind of people kind of mix this up. So the instruments that I teach are flute, oboe, bassoon, saxophone, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, French horn, euphonium, tuba, and percussion. All drums, all percussion. So those are the instruments that I teach. The string instruments, that's Miss Davis. So just so that you know that for beginning band folks. So you would register for that. For people who do have previous playing experience, all wind and percussion players, I just spoke to the current 8th graders this week, and it is time for placement auditions. The way we do it at Grady is that students need to audition to place into their ensemble based upon their skill level. The reason doing this is to make sure that students are placed according to where they can be successful. If a student is kind of on level, kind of just, coasted along, just making it, then the advanced ensemble is going to be too rigorous for them and they're going to be overwhelmed. So therefore, by me hearing them play prior to them coming into Grady, I know exactly where to place them, and I work with Mr. Vincent to do that. So they have the instructions on that. We spoke about that already. So intermediate band is primarily for students. That's where primarily the freshmen are going to go. Sophomores as well are in there, but that's primarily for underclassmen. It still is a competitive ensemble. I still push the students. However, it's not as rigorous as the advanced band, which is the wind ensemble. And this is our top performing ensemble, that are primarily comprised of upperclassmen. However, freshmen, sophomores can definitely make that ensemble. We do have several freshmen and sophomores currently in there, so that is a possibility. So for a percussionist, however, percussion parents, there's a specific class that they will go in called Advanced Ensemble. So on your registration seat, they'll register for Advanced Ensemble. Percussionists do not go into that wind class, primarily because it's just percussion and wind instruments, they're very different. It's like needing a different diet. So I'm able to give them more in that percussion class than I am in the actual wind class. So make sure that if you're a parent of a percussionist, they sign up for that advanced ensemble class. They still do audition. They still will perform with one of the bands based upon their skill level. Like I said, they are taking the audition, so I know where they need to be, which band they need to play with as well. However, they do automatically go into that percussion class, and that percussion class is for experienced percussionists, not beginning percussionists. We also offer jazz band that meets as a club every Wednesday. Right now it's after school, but it meets as a club. So if anybody's ever heard our jazz band, it's a wonderful ensemble. Kids have a lot of fun. We get to explore completely different style of music than what we do in the concert ensemble. But that is something that meets outside of school. And then we also have our marching band and our auxiliary. All right, marching band, as you've seen at the football games, they're the band that plays in the stand, plays on the field. That ensemble is a lot of fun to be a part of. Students that do it really love it. We'll talk a lot more about that in our band. I have a specific band meeting that we'll be having within a couple of months, so I won't go too much into detail about that. But I do want to put that on your radar and do want you to kind of already fill that out. And kind of start thinking about that. It's definitely something that can be done. And like I said, without going into too much detail, it is also an extracurricular activity. It is a time commitment and just a commitment overall. So just know that it does operate kind of like a sport in terms of the commitment level. So just kind of know that in advance. The only sports that you can't play and be in the marching band at the same time are fall sports. You definitely can do winter sports, can do spring sports, stuff over the summer, but the fall sports do conflict with the time of marching band. And auxiliary, of course, we have flag and dance as well, and that's audition. One thing that we want to keep in mind about all extra auxiliary components of the band, you have to be enrolled in a band class in order to do those auxiliary components of the band. I'll say that again. You have to be enrolled in a concert band class in order to do those auxiliary components of the band. So you have to be in one of the concert band classes or the percussion ensemble in order to do jazz band or marching band. All right, so that's just to know that. Other than that, I am looking forward to continue to work with your students throughout the rest of the year and transition them on in. I am very approachable and reachable by email. That's the best way to get to me. If you have questions coming up, please do not hesitate to reach out. Like I said, anytime, just shoot me an email and I'll be sure to respond. Scheduling. The biggest thing is we want to make sure we get it right on the front end because it's very hard to fix on the back end. So we'll be working closely with Mr. Vincent and the other counselors to make sure that your student is in the right class and is taken care of. So like I said, looking forward to it, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Staten. Moving on to Miss Kimberly Wadsworth, who is going to talk about the 2D pathway.
Almost forgot to turn off my mic. Turn it on. All right. The 2D pathway, I believe that the draw and paint section is going to be done probably by Ms. Hargrove, our new art teacher, because photo has gotten so popular that now I teach all photo. I don't teach any more art, which is really wonderful for me. We have photo 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the first section is photo 1, and it's 1 semester long. That's usually what 9th graders are in. And then photo 2, 3, and 4 are year-long classes. Normally, we would be working in the dark room. We would work with chemicals. We would use print, photo paper and make prints, and we would use film cameras, and we would process our own film. But with virtual online learning, we have transferred over to digital, which is actually wonderful. It's not that much different than using a regular film camera. Every student is using their phone and cameras, and I am very much learning about iPhone because I'm the only Android user in all 3 classes. And so we're also learning how to digitally edit our images. So I've been at Grady for 16 years and teaching 21 years. And I've been doing the darkroom photo the whole time. And like I used to do the art classes now, but I've graduated. And I've had several students go on to do photography majors in college. And right now, one of our really good students that just graduated from RIT, Scott Semler, he is actually working with my advanced students, and they're doing a workshop, and he's teaching them about advertising photography, as he lives in New York and is working with advertising photographers now. So that's really cool. And I love it when I have students that come to me and say, hey, I'm going to school for photography. And I'm like, wow, that's wonderful. But we love it, and we're learning the digital aspect of it. We also do the pathway thing where they can work towards having a cord and a seal. And just like Mr. Brandhorst said, they would go through all 4 levels, or I think they can still get the pathway with 3 levels if they came in, say, like at 10th grade. But normally they would do photo 1 in 9th grade, photo 2, photo 3, and photo 4. Those are all 1-year classes. Then they have to have a certain amount of community service and some other extracurriculars. And then they do like you said, the capstone project at the end, which is usually like our senior, used to be the AP art show, and now it's kind of merged into this senior art show. And so we do it with the arts classes, Mr. Brandhorst AP art classes, and it's usually a great show. And the juniors get to participate in it as well. The seniors have their senior capstone project, and works out great. I think that we are possibly looking towards doing digital photography, some digital photography classes when we get back to school. Wouldn't be this year, of course, but maybe for the next year. And that would be really good. I hear there's talk in the wind about that, so that would be really nice. You're welcome to email me anytime. I'm really good with email. And artists, I wanted to mention, talking about jazz band, my 9th grade photo 1 student is in the jazz band club, and she absolutely loves it. She tells me about it. So, hey, just wanted to give you that. All right, so I'm good. You, if you need anything or have any questions, just give me an email. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next up is Miss Valerie Williams, who's going to talk about 3D pathway fashion.
Hi, I'm Kotavai Williams. I don't use my first name. I use my middle name. I'm Kotavai Williams, and I apologize for nothing, for showing up looking like a star and sky with flair and good lighting, because that's what fashion does. Thanks to Mr. Dryling and Mr. Brandhorst. So fashion, I do teach art, I do teach painting and drawing, and I love those. But the two things I'm passionate about are our fashion program, because as Mr. Brandhorst said, there is no other full fashion program like this in the entire nation in a high school. And I also teach theater tech, and I'll talk about that in a moment. We do a amazing fashion show every spring where the garments are completely made. It's made, produced, direct. Everything about this show is student driven. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we didn't do it this year, but the students were moved to do it a different way. And come January, they'll be doing an amazing digital portfolio presentation via our website. These classes are, I like to use practical application and real world application. I don't so much push students into going into the fashion industry because it is brutal, but I do push skill set. The students come in not knowing very much and they leave doing fashion illustration, sewing, pattern making, draping. I taught fashion design in a college for 4 years, and the way I've set the program up is very much indicative of what I taught my college students. I believe when given the chance, students typically will rise to the occasion, and many of them are very surprised by what they're actually able to accomplish and do. They do build a skill set over time, starting with learning how to illustrate and sew, and then they do a small collection, typically of 3 to 4 garments. And then when they go into senior design, they do a small collection of 8 to 10 garments. There's an archive of our previous shows on the website currently. It is not currently updated because going into spring, on the back end, I'm working on it so these portfolios show up wonderfully and magnificently. The name of our program is Une Belle Révolution, which is French for a beautiful revolution. And I like for our language teachers to know I've been learning French and talking to my friends in France over this break, so I'll need help when we come back. And our motto for the program is launching visionaries, and whatever that means. Many of my students have gone on, and one student, he has a bag line. He's doing very well. His dad said he just bought a BMW. I guess he's doing very well. So go on to take their skill set and do industrial design or interior design, because it truly is a skill set. I've modified the class with us being online because it is typically hands-on, but we get to do fun stuff during class, like watch fashion shows as we work. And I watch them with my students because I like to go, ooh, ah, and be surprised at the same time as they are. Tomorrow, we're not having class because SCAD invited us to their digital fashion show. So we all got logins and tickets to go watch their shows online. Normally, I would bring in different people to come in and teach skill sets. I've had students come in, professionals come in and do introductions on how to make bags or how to do silk painting, or one of my former students works on movie sets right now. He worked on the costumes for Ant-Man, Doom Patrol, Black Panther, and he was to be our guest designer this year. So I try to introduce them to people who are actually doing it so they can actually see if they love fashion or they just love the skill set that they're able to build with it. We also have a fashion club called the Zhuzh Society, which actually the students named the first year I was there, because I was always like, zhuzh it, make it better, zhuzh, zhuzh, zhuzh. And so the Zhuzh Society, you actually do not need to be in the fashion program. It's open school-wide to any student who would like to get their hands and dabble in fashion. I wasn't able to pull it together for the fall, but going into spring, we'll be doing something digitally online. It is a collective, I like to say, more than a club. We create together, we design together, we present together. And normally that is the section that opens the fashion show. So we're working on some things with that. We do have, like I said, the website, but we also have a fashion blog on that website that is student run. I don't run it. I give one student the password for the year and they run that fashion blog. We also have a Grady Fashion Instagram, again, student run. I make students take ownership for how they would like our program to be perceived. And we've been perceived really well over the 9 years I've been at Grady. We've gotten a multitude of awards. We had a lot of articles written about us. My favorite one was written called "The Future of Fashion is at Grady High School." And we had over 25,000 hits on that article the last time I looked. So a lot of really wonderful things. So if your student has even an inkling or a glimmer and just loves fashion, loves the shiny, sparkly things, I'm the place for that. And then briefly, I also do theater tech with Mr. Dreiling, Mr. Brandhorst. Since I came, I was wanting to do costuming because Grady's theater program is magnificent. If you've never been to a play, go. So we wanted to set it up so we get our costumes organized and actually begin to build costumes for the upcoming plays, which involves history of costumes and knowing how to build them for repetitive use. So if maybe fashion's not your thing, but you're a theater lover, you're already there, come on over and take some theater classes. It's the same skill set, but applied differently. And one more thing, and then I'm gonna stop talking. I also am the teacher that typically takes students out the country. This past June, we were to be in Japan. I am still crying because we did not make it. However, I'm looking at doing it in June of 2021. And if not, I would like to partner with our other teacher going to the Galapagos Island and kind of blend those trips going into 2022. I personally and professionally as a teacher advocate for raising global citizens. I think in this day and times is very important. And so being able to take students and show them all parts and other parts of the world is critical to almost all of the programs we offer here at Grady. It not only expands their awareness of their self in the world, but expands their way of thinking about how other people live. So if you are interested, you can reach me via email, whether it be fashion, whether it be costume design or international travel. Thank you guys. And I look forward to working with your children in the upcoming school year.
Thank you so much, Ms. Williams. Next up is Mr. Pilson, and he is going to talk not only about business management and administration, but also marketing. He's doing a little double duty for Mr. Davis, who was not able to be with us this evening.
Good evening, everyone, and hope you are doing very well. Again, I am Mr. Pilson, and presently I am teaching business and entrepreneurship as a pathway. I also serve as the career technology chair. And as you have heard from two of our teachers, we have a great program going on in CTAE. So with that, students in my class will have 3 courses. They will have Introduction to Business and Technology, Legal Environment of Business or Business Law, and the culminating course will be Entrepreneurship. And so first course is Basic Fundamentals of Business and learning some things about technology. Also, we will touch bases on Microsoft Office applications such as Word, Excel, some of Access, and also PowerPoint. Sometimes the students interchangeably use Google and Google Docs also, but they will learn that. And the second level course, normally we cover the legal parts of business and operating the business. We're talking about, talk about employment law, talk about real property. We talk about personal property, intellectual property, and we do various projects relating to that. And so normally these classes are project-based. On our entrepreneurship class, normally they do a culminating project of Market Day. We didn't do Market Day last year because of COVID. And even this year, we're having a challenge with that. So with that, and then their final project would be writing their very own business plan. A lot of students say, well, I'm not going into business, and that's okay. Even if they don't have their business in some form of fashion, we try to prepare them for leaders. They may be an entrepreneur, and so they may lead someone else's business and have the creativity to take that business to the next level also. I'd also like to share with you, Mr. Davis, I have a couple teachers that I don't see that we'll try to review their courses. And so one of the co-curricular clubs that go along with my pathway would be FBLA, and Ms. Tanner serves as my co-advisor with that. And so I'd like to say that all of our CTSOs are doing well at Grady High School, and students are very much involved in participating in those CTSOs, not just locally, but also state level and national levels also. Mr. Davis teaches a course in marketing and communication promotions. And so students in his pathway would encounter marketing principles, promotion and professional sales, and also marketing communications. In this class, they basically get to the way people communicate as it relates to market. Psychographics, getting into the intellectual mind of, how people think and how to place items on shelving, and, what makes people tick. And so with that, students will gather that. Also, Dr. Dunton teaches pathway in sports and entertainment marketing. And so also his class, the students would take marketing principles, introduction to sports and entertainment marketing, and the final class at advanced in sports and entertainment marketing. And so all of these classes are fun. Students do a lot of hands-on presentations. Not only that, they develop products and do very fun things with colors and images and products and creativity. So you want to send your students to CTAE Way, okay? And lastly, I'm going to say a little bit about Mr. Roberts. I don't see him. He teaches courses in audio, video technology, and film. Yes. So he does that in 1, 2, and 3. They also have a production program that while they're at school. And I think they're doing some things remotely too that they produce by film to show to the student body. And then we have Miss Jones, Martha Jones, which is our CTI coordinator. There's career technology and instruction. And so she's here to provide assistance to those students who may have disabilities, to make sure that all our students are successful and all our students really get the job placement that they want. And I'm going to say it like this: whether they get a job after high school, whether they go to a 2-year university, or even if they go to a 4-year university, the average job coming out of high school with some college associate's degree, students get paid on the average $53,000 a year. And so we want to make sure that all of our students are tapping into those resources that they need to tap into. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pilson, for covering a couple of those teachers who, again, weren't able to attend tonight. Just know also that audio video does do GNN for Grady High School. So that is a great thing that they do for us. So next up, we have Mr. Kevin Hill, who is going to talk to you a little bit about chorus.
Hey folks, yeah, Kevin Hill. I've been, like actually many of these wonderful people in this Zoom, I've been at Grady for quite a while, since 2002. And we built an outstanding chorus vocal program that's very active, but it's also designed for the beginning level singer all the way through the most skilled. So, whatever the interest level is with singing, even if it's just want to have an introduction to it, then we have a program for those students. For the pathway, it is a 3-year completion, so participation in 3-year-long courses. But if you go the 4th year, you get that extra. You can go for that extra diploma seal. So some of the activities that we do through the year, we usually start the fall with some honor courses. This year we had our district honor course. We were really, it was a cool opportunity to do a workshop with Eric Whitaker, who's an amazing choral composer and just all around great musician. So our kids got to sit in with a workshop with him in Zoom and then perform. He's actually the creator of the virtual choir. If you've seen all these virtual choirs going on, he started that idea about 10, 15 years ago. And so he, anyway, look him up, Eric Whitaker. We did, our District Honor Chorus students sang some of his music and did a workshop with him. Really cool opportunity. In a normal year, this time last year, we were singing with the Atlanta Symphony. We do a yearly concert with them, whether in the past we've done Home Alone. We've been the choir for the orchestra as they play along with Home Alone. We've been doing several series with the Harry Potter movies as well. So we have a great connection with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. So we have those opportunities for really high level music making. Many of our students every year participate in All-State Chorus. And last year, I think we had 6 students that made All-State Chorus, which was really exceptional. Every year we go to LGPE, which is Large Group Performance Evaluations, or evaluation, and get superior ratings there as well. So we have an outstanding program. Also, we have all the musicals. Mr. Dryling was talking a bit about that as well. A lot of our students, there's a lot of crossover, as you can imagine, between voice, chorus music, and musical theater. And a lot of our students actually, the most serious students take is 2 classes a year of course, or 1 chorus class and 1 musical theater class. So and then other activities that we do, we have our, we usually every 2 years we do a big trip. We were planning to do one this past year, that didn't happen, but hopefully in the near future we'll do some big trips to either New York, or we have gone overseas as well. So so the classes that we have for chorus are beginning chorus, which is it pairs with musical theater 1. So it gives the kids an introduction to both choral singing and to also a little bit of solo singing with the musical theater connection as well. So Mr. Dryling and I team teach that. Your students also may be interested in auditioning for a higher level chorus class if they have those sight reading skills and are interested in going on. The guys can audition for the advanced men's chorus, and the girls can audition for either an intermediate women's chorus or advanced. Sometimes that's put together depending on the numbers. Fortunately, my wife is the chorus teacher at Howard, which most of our students come from Howard. So I will be touching base with those students and touching base with the parents about the audition process for that soon. But if you're not at either Howard, or if you're not at Howard, if you would just shoot me an email. I think my email address will be up there soon. And I'll be glad to touch base with you about an audition and go through that process. Let me finish the other classes we have. So that beginning and intermediate level, we have advanced men's chorus, advanced women's chorus. Our top group is the Mastery Women's Chorus, which really we do college level music and college level sight reading with that ensemble. Also we have our Grady Voices ensemble, which is it's musical theater 3-4, which many years we do. I team teach that with either Mr. Pope or Mr. Dryling to do productions, and then in the spring semester we do more choral music training, and that way. We also have our Voxology is our a cappella club. It's not really a class, but it is an ensemble that is auditioned at the beginning of the year for our top singers. You can think, in terms of those, a lot of the college a cappella groups that you've heard over the years, Pentatonics, and we do, a lot of that style music anyway. So, and that's Voxology. So I think I've covered everything here. So again, I will be in touch with those students at Howard about auditions. And if your student is not at Howard, please do email me. I do want to bring your attention to one other thing. Next week, either Thursday or Friday, you know how it is virtually, we will be releasing our virtual winter concert. So look for information about that. That will be emailed out. There will be a live stream sent out immediately on the date, but then also we will, share links after that point. So that is our virtual winter concert. We have been all virtual this year, and it's been an experience. And I'm looking forward to getting back and singing with students in a live format. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hill. And up next we have, Ms. Davis for orchestra.
Hello, my name is Chrissy Davis. I'm the orchestra director here at Grady High School. This is my 4th year at Grady and 16th year in education overall. Really proud of the growth of the orchestra during my tenure here at Grady. When I started, 60 members were in the orchestra. We are now in the 100+ range. So hoping to definitely continue that trend with your students coming next year. A couple of things I want to point out, just like the chorus and Mr. Hill, we also enjoy a robust relationship with the ASO, Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. We have members pre-COVID times, obviously, come to visit us in person every year and give master classes to us. And then I think my number is definitely in speed dial on the education managers phone. We get first dibs on guest performances, the guest performers that usually come in with the symphony orchestra. Seeing how we're so close to Atlanta Symphony Hall, when those guest performers want to do outreach, we're usually the first that they call. Last year, we were very honored and privileged to host renowned pianist Emmanuel Axe. He came to Grady and did a mini recital and engaged with the students. So definitely looking forward to nurturing that relationship with the ASO in years to come. So just like my counterparts as well, Mr. Staten and Mr. Hill, there are 4 levels of orchestra as well. I am of the personal belief, if a 14, 15, or 16-year-old comes to you and say, hey, I want to play an instrument I never played before, who am I to deny them that privilege? So yes, I do have a beginning from, I like to call it from scratch orchestra class where they've never touched an instrument, violin, viola, cello, or bass. They are more than welcome to come and learn an instrument. And that helps me out as well in addressing instrumentation issues that I may have. I don't have enough basses one year. I can start basses here at the high school level. So that's the first level of orchestra, beginning orchestra. Most 9th graders that come from Howard with my lovely counterpart, Ms. Shields, are placed in the intermediate level class. Like I said, if you've played with Ms. Shields or Mr., I can't think of his name right now at Centennial, I'm sorry. But if you played in orchestra at one of those feeder schools, you're automatically placed in the intermediate class. Well, we'll continue to develop and refine those skills and get you ready for the upper levels of orchestra. Next, we have the advanced class. 9th graders really don't participate in that class. That's the advanced class is reserved for the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders who are not quite ready for the highest level of orchestra, which I'll talk about in a moment. And then we have our mastery level class, which is open to 9th graders by audition only or recommendation from Ms. Shields. Think about if your child is already auditioning for all-state orchestra at the middle school level or has made all-state orchestra at the middle school level, or you participate in one of the area youth orchestras such as Metropolitan Youth Symphony or the Emory Youth Symphony. If you're already doing that at the middle school level, then you would most likely be a better fit for the mastery class, level class, and we'll get you to that class. But either or, the big takeaway, there is a level of orchestra for everyone at Grady High School. So definitely looking forward to welcoming your students no matter their ability level. You can follow us at Grady Orchestra on Twitter. Like Mr. Hill, we have our winter concert link coming out. I'll be posting that next week if you want to take a look at our winter virtual concert. And then we also have a website as well, gradyorchestra.org, where you can get any information concerning orchestra that you need. I also want to point out that I do also teach guitar. I don't know if I was later on in the presentation, but I'll go ahead and get it out of the way now. I'm also the guitar instructor, 3 levels of guitar, beginning, like I said, just like orchestra, from scratch, never touched an instrument at all. And then we also have an intermediate and an advanced class available for your students to take. So looking forward to welcoming your students next year in person.
Thank you so much, Ms. Davis. And next up, Mr. Stewart, who is going to talk about JROTC.
Good evening. This is Lieutenant Colonel Johnson. I'm senior, no problems. I'm the senior Army instructor here at Grady High School, the 9th Battalion. And I'd like to also introduce my NCOs. I probably won't show them, but We have Sergeant Major Stewart, who's the Sergeant Major that teaches the second-year students, and Staff Sergeant Dunn that teaches the first-year students. I teach the third and fourth-year students. So, and this is Sergeant Dunn's first year this year, so she's done a great job, and I'm glad we have her. Now, before I get into what JRTC is, I want to tell you what JRTC is not. It is not a program that's designed to push or force students to go into the military. That's not our pathway. Our pathway is focused on leadership and providing those students with those soft skills that they need for corporate America. Also, the RTC program is a cadet-ran program that motivates young people to be better citizens. Within the ROTC curriculum, you'll find probably the most diverse curriculum in high school. We teach classes from first aid, math, trig, English, science, goal setting, post-secondary training, whatever, making a decision on what they're going to do after high school, college prep. We teach time management, teach kids how to manage their finance. We also have a diverse extracurricular activities within JRTC. For example, we have the drill team, color guard, which is a competition drill. We have also the Raider team, which is sort of an adventurer type team that we have. And we have also the rifle team. And the rifle team is a varsity sport. So you can letter in that sport. If you're varsity, you shoot good enough. And it also requires a physical. We also give the students an opportunity to get community service hours. We've had some students in the JRTC program get as many as 300 hours for the time that they were in high school. So, and that's required, 75 hours are required in order to graduate from the course. So again, the pathway is not necessarily going into the military, though the military is an option. We've had very good success in sending students to the academies. We've had about 6 to get accepted into West Point. We've had 2 to go to the Naval Academy. And we had 1 student that wasn't in the program, but did get accepted into the Merchant Marines and the Coast Guard academies. And each one of those schools is about close to $500,000. So you do the math. We also offer opportunities for kids to get scholarships, ROTC scholarships, as well as Achieve Atlanta. We push a lot on Achieve Atlanta. I've gotten, I know, at least 15 students in the last 2 years scholarships for Achieve Atlanta, which is about $20,000 each. So, but ROTC is a great course to get into if the students want to be there. We give them opportunities to run the course themselves. We're very happy to say that the brigade commander, which is the top spot within Atlanta Public School, is a Grady Knight cadet Colonel Avery Forrester, as well as we have the supply and logistics officer, Nola Pickering, who is also in charge of all the brigade supply and logistics functions. So JRTC is a great opportunity for kids, good kids to be better. We give them the opportunity, we give them the skills, those soft skills that they need to be able to think, work as a team. And so if you think this is a program that you'd like your student to be a part of, feel free to register them, email me, ask me questions, whatever, and we'll be able to help answer those questions as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next up, we have Ms. Schofield, who's going to talk to us about engineering. Ms. Schofield, are you still with us?
I do see her here. Ms. Schofield, if you can hear us, you may be.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
As I was saying, my name is Tonya Schofield, and I'm the engineer, one of the engineering pathway teachers, Ms. Nunnick. I work with her. The courses that we have for the engineering pathway is Foundations of Engineering, Engineering Concepts, and Engineering Applications. We also have a organization, which is co-curricular organization, which is called Technology Student Association, which is TSA. Right now, it's kind of hard doing engineering, but we've found a way to do it. My students are now working on industry software called Onshape, where we do 3D modeling. They're also using Java for programming, and we are building microbits at this time. In the engineering program, what we do, we design, we build prototypes, we use simulations for testing. So we are continuously problem solving and using hands-on activities. If you have any questions about it, you definitely can email me at the address stated below. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Schofield. Next up is Ms. Tanner.
I'm sorry, I'm just blinking. Hi, I'm Ms. Tanner. I teach the Web and Digital Design pathway here at Grady High School. In this pathway, there are 3 classes: Introduction to Digital Technology, Digital Design, and Web Design. All during these classes, we focus on employability, skills, and career development, soft skills, so that the kids can be able to enter into the business and industry world successfully. In digital technology, we work on digital citizenship, how computers work, computer software, hardware, protocols. And right now we're actually learning the fundamentals of JavaScript. In digital design, we work on multimedia, or just basically media. So because we weren't in the lab, we use Photopia, which is something comparable to Photoshop. So we plan, edited, modified photos, 3D animation. We just finished a branding project where the kids were in teams. They did the branding for a burger shack. They had to do the window design, takeout menus, frisbees, any type of product for the burger shack. It was very interesting. The kids did a really good job at that. And right now we're doing digital audio using EarSketch, where the kids are actually programming music for our audio project. So for each class, or for each unit, I don't do tests, we do project-based assignments. So the kids are finishing up their audio projects this week. And then for the last part, we're going to do a multimedia rich project, which they'll include photos, videos, and their auto digital projects. And then for the final aspect, I'm sorry, I'm talking so fast because I'm at the end, and I just want to thank everybody for staying to the end. And then in the final class, you complete web design, and that just means the kids will learn how to code their own projects, their own websites in HTML and CSS coding. So basically what happened is, in intro, they use Google Sites. In digital design, they build a website in Weebly, and then by the time they get to the web and digital design, because we keep integrating other aspects of web design in those sites, the kids will basically have a portfolio from each course based on the standards, and then they'll build their own website and design. So I would just like to thank everyone for staying to the end. Thank you, Ms. Palakia, for putting this together. And I would also like to encourage you and your kids to venture into web and digital design, where we also do FBLA as our student organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tanner. And actually, we've got to go back to Mr. Ellerton. Somehow he got skipped, and we are very sorry. But Mr. Ellerton, I know you're still with us, so if you would like to go ahead and speak about the multimedia and print.
Okay, I will try to be quick here. So
I'm over the journalism pathway, which also encompasses the newspaper, the magazine, online publications, but also the freshman class is the gateway class for the yearbook and for Lit Magazine also. And our journalism program has been yearly recognized as the top journalism program in Georgia. The history of the Southerner goes back to the beginning of Grady High School in 1947. And even before Grady, Boys High School had the top high school newspaper and the first high school newspaper in Georgia. And over the past 2 years, we've gotten a national award, a top national award from Columbia Scholastic Press Association. But the beginning class, the whole purpose of that class is to give students foundational skills to learn how to report, to learn how to write, to learn photography, to learn how to design, so that when they move on after the first year, they choose to either go to the publications, the Southerner or Nexus Magazine, or if they go over to Lit Mag or to Yearbook, they have the skills to be able to progress. The important thing about the pathway is that it's very student driven. Once the students move on to the publications, I serve as an advisor, but everything that they do is student run, from the creation of story ideas to the editing to the guidance, and life skills that they develop are communication skills, leadership, time management, project management, problem solving, writing, photography, team building. So there are a lot of skills that are involved. And also because we operate as a business to some degree, there is the skill of selling and marketing. There's fundraising skills that they have to have. We finance ourselves through subscriptions. So each year we have about 250 paying subscribers, and our website reaches sometimes up to 40,000, get 40,000 views or so a month. And when we were dealing with the stories about the renaming, we had 15,000 unique users who came to our site. So in closing, it's a very real life pathway where the students operate as if they are in the world of work with the responsibilities that you expect to have if you are on a job. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ellerton. And thank you to all of our teachers who have taken the time to be with us tonight, and speak. I really, really, really appreciate it. So we've got a few more slides and then we're going to wrap up. Parents, registration is not optional, but required. You must understand that completing the pathway selection form does not take the place of registration for your rising ninth grader. The link provided below will give you all the information that you need to be able to register your student. Registration for current APS students will likely take place in March. Dates are to be determined. Registration for students coming from outside the APS district will likely take place in June. And again, dates to be determined. We hopefully will have these dates for you at our January meeting. So we will look forward to sharing that information with you as well. Please understand, failure to register your student will impact your child's classes and selections. So please make sure that you not only do that pathway selection, but when the time comes, you do register your student. Pathway elective selection timeline. Just go ahead and mark it on your calendar, Friday, January 22nd. It will open at 8 p.m. And this is for Howard, APS charter students, private schools. Online pathway and elective selection form link will open at 8 p.m. The pathway selection form will be found on the Rising Ninth Grade all-in-one link. And then February the 5th at 11:59, it will close.
And you need to also need to add something, Ms. Palekia.
Yes, sir.
We want parents to know how to find it. We don't want you all searching for links, because that becomes nerve-wracking. I need you to practice going to the Grady High School website, looking across the top and finding parents and students, and choosing ninth grade all-in-one from the website. You're going to lose all these links, so make sure you practice going to the website.
Absolutely. And like Mr. Vincent said, and I think when I was having my tech issues, we talked about the school profile and how to find that under the same, you go into the main website. But again, we are so happy that you attended tonight. And again, we hope that you got a wealth of information. That was our goal. We wanted to give you a feel of our teachers and what great things they are doing at Grady High School with our students. So please, like Mr. Vincent said, under parents and students, you will go on the Grady website to the all-in ninth grade, all-in-one, click on that link and see if you can get any of your questions answered through that. If you cannot, feel free to email me for individualized personal questions. You certainly can do that. I will also give you another plug. We have recorded this. We will be posting this entire presentation on the Grady website. So you will also have access to the teachers' emails if you want to reach out to them, as many of them did suggest that. Our next meeting will be January the 20th with your students. We are going to be doing a virtual meeting with the students from 9:30 to 11:30. And then we will be doing a meeting finally, our final meeting just before the pathway selection on January 21st. That was a typo. So it is January 21st, 6:30 to 8. And Miss Hollis is showing you the rising ninth grade all-in-one. That has everything that we have discussed, so much of what we have discussed today.
Can I add something while she's on that screen?
Yes.
We're going to post tonight's recording right there where it says December 10th meeting. So all of your meetings will be found on the website. I'm going to add it as fast as Ms. Hollis gives it to me. So if you need to review it, keep in mind that this was a whole lot. We have asked all of our teachers who teach pathway courses and have clubs to create their own videos. Some have done it, some are still in the process. But after sitting here for 2 hours tonight, you'll understand the urgency, teachers, so that parents can just go to the website and click on the pathway and see everything they need to know. They see a description, they see your video. So we're going to have that available for you. The teachers should have that to me by the 18th, that's next Friday. Also with journalism, I need to add, we're gonna make some changes with that pathway. We're gonna call it newspaper, yearbook, and literary magazine, so look out for that. So make sure you just get used to looking at this website, and it will probably answer 90% of the questions that you have.
Okay, Dr. Botman, is there anything that you would like to say in closing?
No, thank you for being here. Thank you, Ms. Palekia, for putting this together, and appreciate your attention. We look forward to seeing you again in January.
Thank you.